Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today, we've got some huge updates for Maul Shadow Lord and Star Wars Starfighter. Before we dive into things though my friends, please be sure to do me a huge favour by hitting the big subscribe button down below. And just remember, as soon as Maul comes out, I will be doing episode breakdowns. Out of everything coming in 2026, maybe with the exception of Ahsoka, this series is going to be the most lore-centric. So there's going to be so much to discuss in terms of the underworld, the Empire, new characters, returning characters. I can't wait to do that, so like I say, we would be honoured if you would join us. But no more jibber jabber, shall we dive into it? Let's go. So there are two key things we're awaiting in this half of 2026. A release date for Maul Shadow Lord and our first public trailer. I still stand by the theory that it's going to come on May 4th, or at least sometime before the Mandalorian and Grogu on May 22nd, and in March we also have that Marvel tie-in comic, which by the way has new variant covers, and one of them shows off the animation style of this show. It's not going to be exactly the same as the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch. According to Lucasfilm Animation, it's going to be a hybrid of both 3D animation and an approach that's been described as edgy, jagged, and dangerous, to reflect Maul's perspective on the universe. Maybe more of a painterly approach. It's when the visuals often look like brushstrokes on a canvas, with more dynamic backgrounds and environments, feeling more like moving paintings. And this is a way Maul Shadow Lord is going to stand out. We also have some new HD stills for the show. Now I will say, these were lifted from the Celebration trailer in Japan, and they've been upscaled, so they're not going to be entirely 100% accurate, but they capture the essence of so many new and familiar characters, and they're pretty darn insane. It's the best we have at the moment, so I'm going to break them down and give you my thoughts. Let's kick things off with an ominous, hooded Darth Maul, or should I just say Maul because he's no longer a Sith. What I love about this one is how reminiscent it is of his Phantom Menace look. And with full HD definition with the music in the background, fans are going to go crazy for this. We love new additions to the Star Wars timeline and new stories and new characters, but you can't beat the excitement we have for the classics. The OGs of episodes 1 to 6. I guess some people would say just the original trilogy and Maul is a prequel character, but I was a prequel kid, so to me he's an OG. He's a symbol of the dark side of the Star Wars franchise, Sith or not. So excited by this. But then we come on to some of the juicier stuff. This is one of the most unique creature designs I think I've ever seen for Star Wars. This is an Alina, the small reptile species we also were first introduced to in episode 1, but he's using a mech suit. This is a dinner amongst crime syndicates, and either we're going to learn about different variations within the Alina species, or this is just a tiny Alina in a suit. A bit like the way Grogu uses the IG unit. But I did notice something interesting about his mech suit. It kind of reminds me of the Bedlam Raiders from Jedi Survivor, and in the background, we have cyborgs, which kind of look like the ones in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. But the world building and exploration of the underbelly of the galaxy is going to be pretty darn amazing in this one. And then we come on to the character who everyone seems to assume is going to be Darth Talon, Maul's secret apprentice, who no longer exists by the time of Rebels. And based on some of these photos, we have new context for how she meets Maul. I think he comes across her on accident. She looks terrified of him. I wonder if she was a Jedi Padawan who survived Order 66. Is she in the wrong place at the wrong time? Maul senses her in the Force, and he takes her on. She turns to the dark side. She does his bidding. And something else I really want to see from this show is Maul's relationship with the Force during this time. He might be driven by fear and revenge, especially for Kenobi, but there are still defining things about him that separate him from the Sith. He kind of reminds me of Chimera in the sense that he loves his own freedom. He has no interest in galactic dominance, but as Sam Witwer says, he wants his own piece of the pie, and this is going to be evident with the crime syndicates. Maul is very multi-dimensional. He's complex. I know fans like to complain he was brought back from the dead, but he's had one of the most interesting arcs to date. He very much teeters on the edge of so many archetypes without ever sinking into one of those. He's a hero 1 minute and a villain the next. And something I'm really looking forward to in Maul Shadow Lord is exploring Maul's reaction to Order 66 and the rise of Palpatine's Empire. The world he used to know has changed. So then we have a mix of miscellaneous stills, some photos of Maul meditating, igniting his lightsaber, those kinds of things. But then we have a new look at Rook Kast, a Maul loyalist. Could this show decisively answer the question once and for all if she becomes the Armorer? I've personally become more doubtful of that theory, especially when I asked Emily Swallow and she said there was no indication of that by Jon Favreau when he made the character, but it could be something they retcon, and a theory which Mando fans have been holding on to for years. A Mandalorian warrior who led the Shadow Collective's super commandos. And is there a chance we also see Gar Saxon? He was also loyal to Maul before he became a puppet of the Empire. So could we see that process? Could we see that transition? And if so, he's going to be voiced by someone new, because Ray Stevenson, who played Balin, was also the voice of Gar Saxon. So in the same way Ahsoka Season 2 is giving us a new Balin with Rory McCann, is there a chance we get a new vocal iteration of this character? And you know, generally speaking with Maul Shadow Lord, I've seen a lot of concern from fans. They're worried that this is going to make Maul a good guy, that we're going to sympathize with his motivations, and that Lucasfilm is going to water him down and make him less of a vicious menace. And while I understand why fans might be concerned, in this regard, Sam Witwer has already addressed how Maul is framed in the show. He's already confirmed to us that he's not innocent, and he's not the good guy. He's not even an anti-hero. He is, and I quote, a bad guy amongst worse guys. And he's trying to make sense of recent galactic events, because while he knew about Palpatine's Sith plan, he didn't realize what the Empire would really be like. And now that it's here, Maul is confused. He realizes, and again I quote, "This is a little scary." He knows how dangerous Palpatine is, but this isn't the Empire he imagined. And at this point in the timeline after the Clone Wars, this is a year after Season 7, he's worked out the basics. He tried to warn Ahsoka that her master, Anakin, was being groomed to be the next Sith apprentice, so he knows the identity of Darth Vader. But what Sam Witwer says is central to this show is Maul trying to work out the things that Sidious didn't tell him. And like I've said before, I think Maul wants to fight and kill Vader. He wants to ruin Palpatine's ultimate plans. The problem is, Vader is way too powerful, something which Maul seems to understand by the time of Rebels. Is there going to be a confrontation in Shadow Lord where Maul makes it out alive by the skin of his teeth? And another theory I want to touch upon, there might be parallels between Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader and Maul and his apprentice. And so finally my friends, jumping the Star Wars timeline to the post-sequel era with Star Wars Starfighter. So after it was revealed that lightsabers are going to be in the movie, fans want to know what kind of Force users we're dealing with. The Jedi are very much still around thanks to Rey, but what about the dark side? Are we dealing with Sith or Dark Jedi? What's the situation? Well, according to rumors, Mia Goth has a lightsaber, but Matt Smith's character doesn't. But are they Sith? I think the answer is no. On the subject of familiarity in the movie, Sean Levy recently said he had to reinvent everything from scratch. So I think we're dealing with a new dark side concept. Maybe First Order Inquisitors, ones who are trained to be Praetorian Guards, or something like that. Or it might be a new Sith cult. But it was a cool detail to find out there's going to be a lightsaber fight over water. But share your thoughts on today's news in the comments down below, my dear friends. Lots of fun tidbits. Are you looking forward to more Shadow Lord? Let me know.